it's time once again to talk about tractor and combine sales. I think Dr. Jim Rankin joined us last month to bring us up to date, and he's back. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you very much, Lisa. It's a pleasure to be here.
Give us some feedback. Let's start with tractor sales, because apparently you want to discuss the harvester sales separately this time.
Yes, I think tractor sales have been excellent in the last certainly year. The sales in 2022 were the highest since, I think, 1982, 1983, so the highest for 40 years. But one of the aspects of tractor sales is the size of tractors. For a long time, the average engine power of tractors was about just under 60, about 58 kilowatts. And then after the lifting of the Atlantis diesel engine program, the size jumped to 60 to 70, and currently it's running at about 80 kilowatts. So what that means is that more power, although the numbers of tractors are going in are higher, but the amount of power, and I've coined the phrase tractive power, and we've worked out that figure, and that's what's actually doing the work on the farms. So what has happened in the last 20 years? Yes, the tractor park has grown by 50%, but the tractive power that has gone into the field has gone up by 80%, reflecting that increase in engine power. So now what we've had the last month is the highest combine harvester sales. My records go back to 1996. So that's almost 30 years. And we sold 104 units in April. And the running total, 12-month total to April, was 461 units. And that is a record for the period that I cover. And again, as I left the office, I put one of my ladies on, gave her a task of doing the same thing for combines as we did for tractors. Because I still remember, and I'm old, I can remember that far back, the Laverda 90. That had a 90 horsepower engine. Well, now the combines, that sort of combine doesn't exist.
That was Mickey Mouse.
It really was. It was a nice combine, and it served its purpose at the time, but not anymore. I mean, we've got combines with over 400 kilowatt engine power, and they do a job, and 2/3 they really do. So what has happened is that because of changing circumstances, and we can perhaps just chat about that, we've got much more harvesting power in the land, and that's great. And the reasons for it are that we've diversified our crops. Maize is still obviously our major crop, and the estimates say that we're going to produce almost 16 million tons this year, which is above average. And the soybean crop is massive and has grown enormously in the last few years. And what soybean harvesting means is that when the soybean is ready for harvesting, you've got to harvest it. It's not like maize that you can, môre is nog 'n dag. You harvest it when it's ready. So you need that combine on the farm. You can't really use a contractor, because the contractor will be somewhere else harvesting soyas for somebody else. So you need that combine on the farm. And also in the Western Cape, canola has become quite an important crop. So these are the reasons why it's necessary that we need more combines, and
the reason for the increase.
Yes, the main reason for the increase in combine sales in the recent past.
Now we're heading for a drier season, drier few years again. So what do you predict?
We've been through this. Agricultural machinery people and companies are traditionally optimistic, but they are realistic. I think we know that this cannot continue, but farmers have taken the opportunity of good commodity prices, good rainfall, good weather conditions to replace those aging machines that they had on the farms. And I think even that will lead to a bit of a turn down, because a lot of equipment has gone in. And yes, El Nino is threatening, I believe, at the end of this year. But we've had it before. And if anybody is caught with a yard full of stock that they can't sell, well, it's partly their own problem. They should have realized that there is going to be a turn down. Exactly when it'll start and how sharp that turn down will be, we don't know. But it's just something that we as an industry have to manage.
Jim, it seems like May is the month of shows in South Africa. I mean, we've had the Bloem Show, NAMPO, the Royal Show. Do these shows have an impact on sales? Obviously, do they? Or is it just a wow factor?
No, they do, but it's a double effect. Yes, the show has an important effect on the industry, and I was reading farmers' comments yesterday that the farmers like to go to the shows to see the equipment, to talk to the people, and that's important. And we missed out with NAMPO for 2 years. But ironically, what happens is that you've got a lot of staff on the show, and they're not in their home territory selling equipment. So you might lose sales there for that period. But then when you get back, obviously you can... So it has a positive and it has a slightly negative effect with... obviously, the salesman would like to do business on the show, and I'm sure that they do. But it does have a slightly negative effect because of the resources which the companies have to put towards, let's say, NAMPO, for example. I mean, it's huge. The transport costs of the equipment, the people that they have to have, the logistics, it's massive, and so it's a double-edged sword.
Jim, thank you very much for joining us again in studio. We always appreciate your time, and always a wow factor when it comes to sales of these huge machinery in a country where we think people don't have money. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Jim Rankin joining us again today.
Control to Fortunate, you're heading into uncharted territory. Over.
Copy that, Control. We've got this.
Some rough terrain coming up. Engage 4x4.
Roger that. Engaged.
Mission complete, Dad.
The all-new Toyota Fortuner.
Control, we have a problem.
Reimagine the luxury of freedom.